Last night, we saw a heel John Cena and a babyface Randy Orton have a promo battle, and it honestly felt like we are living in an alternate universe, but I loved it. I'm Ben Allison, you're watching Allison Analysis, and here are my top 5 key findings from last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. And if you wait till the end, I will be showcasing 5 of your key findings from last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown as well. Let's get into it. In at number 5, it is so wild seeing a face Randy Orton talk to a heel John Cena. Their promo battle last night was absolutely incredible. 1 minute I thought John Cena had the upper hand, then the next second Randy Orton had the upper hand. It was really back and forth, it was fantastic. But the entire time, I just couldn't get my head around Randy Orton lecturing John Cena on being a good guy. I mean, it's just wild to me after everything Randy Orton has done to John Cena. Now, the kids stuff actually was a really good way to go about it. Have kids be the reason Orton's changed, and him trying to say, oh, Cena, you should have some too. But it almost just felt a little bit comedic to me, because it just reminded me of that Total Bella storyline from a few years ago. Honestly, at times, and a lot of times in this promo, it does kind of feel like John Cena is just playing a heel. It does feel fake, not genuine. But truthfully, I don't really care because I'm enjoying this so much. And it was interesting that for a second show in a row, Randy Orton stood tall. In at number 4, I'm so glad Fraxium have been called up, but why to SmackDown? Fraxium had a ridiculously good run in NXT, and it has been clear as day for quite a while now that they need a call-up, that they deserve a call-up. And their match last night against Los Garza, who by the way are also massively underrated, proved that. But why SmackDown? SmackDown's tag team division is absolutely stacked from top until bottom. Meanwhile, Raw's, well, it's practically non-existent. A New Day versus Fraxia multiple-month feud in a couple of months could have been absolutely off the charts, outstanding. And honestly, that would have really helped Monday Night Raw out a lot more than I think Fraxium can help out Friday Night SmackDown. I'm hoping a draft is soon so they can at least shake up the tag team divisions a little bit and make them a little bit more even. But if they are going to do a draft so soon after the transfer window, then let's face it, they actually need to just stick to it this time. Because right now, this brand split is practically non-existent. In at number 3, I'm thrilled for Zelina Vega, but Chelsea Green did deserve a longer reign. Chelsea, just like she did before her title reign, turned every little opportunity she had during it into absolute gold, despite not being given very many opportunities on screen. And it did feel like we were only just scratching the surface of it, and I honestly thought this could be a year-long reign for Chelsea Green, so I'm absolutely stunned she's lost it this early. Now, don't get me wrong, Zelina Vega undoubtedly deserved this, a hell of a moment for her, and she's put in the work to get this moment. It is deserved, no doubt about it. But they were telling this secret Hervis storyline. There was so much you could tell, and now it's kind of felt like either they've just thrown it away, or they're just going to give Chelsea the title back in a few weeks, which honestly is what I'm predicting right now. So truthfully, I kind of feel like this title change was very simply unnecessary. But before we get into the top 2 key findings, and then your key findings, if you guys could please leave a like and subscribe on this video, and a comment as well, that would be massively appreciated. Here at Wrestling Republic, we create between 5 to 10 free videos every single week, and in addition to that, we have a live daily stream every single day at 8 PM UK, 3 PM Eastern, 12 PM Pacific. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you. In at number 2, Aleister Black is back and with his original NXT theme and presentation. And I am absolutely thrilled. Quite a few people wrote in saying they expected that I wouldn't have been happy with how this went down because he attacked The Miz. It felt random, and of course, I criticized Rusev's return earlier this week because when he attacked the Alpha Academy, it felt random. But there are a couple key differences with this one. Firstly, Miz is a former WWE champion, and I genuinely think you can tell a short story between Black and The Miz, compared to Rusev and Alpha Academy, where I don't really think there's going to be any substance to that story. But secondly, and way more importantly, Black's presentation was absolutely phenomenal and got him over on its own in comparison to Rusev's new presentation, which is quite frankly more bland than my plain pasta. And it's easy for a lot of us hardcore fans to forget how many new fans there are right now, right? 5 years ago, less people were watching WWE than they ever have been before. But now more people are watching it than ever before. So for the majority of the fan base, this was genuinely the first time that they've actually seen Aleister Black's entrance in WWE. And based on the reactions on Twitter and on watch-alongs and all that, people absolutely loved it. And at number 1, the TLC match should have been on night 1 of WrestleMania. Night 1 was literally screaming out for something like this. Forget the War Raiders versus the New Day. Forget El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio or Rey Fenix. Both of those matches shouldn't have been on the card, and that time should have been added together to give to this instead. And if it was, night 1 would have literally have been at least 10 times better. Now, don't get me wrong, of course there were a couple of sloppy moments during this match, especially when people were on top of the ladder waiting for the next spot before unhooking the titles. There were a few moments like that, but still, it was ridiculously fun. It was a banger of a bout. And I have no issue with the Street Profits retaining. And the reason for that is, let's face it, for the last 3 years or 4 years even, the Street Profits have been so ridiculously underutilized that they deserve a long title reign now. They deserve these key victories, so I'm glad they are getting them. And this was a terrific main event to SmackDown, but again, deserved to be on the Mania card so the people involved could have had a WrestleMania moment. But enough about me, let's get on to your thoughts from last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown that you guys have submitted to us via our Instagram broadcast channel. This is a new segment on Allison Analysis where every episode I'm going to be choosing 5 opinions, 5 takes relating to one segment from each show, or one opinion essentially, and reading them out and giving my thoughts too. Let's kick things off with Wrestling Chico, who says Montez Ford had a breakout moment. He's going to be a star. Montez Ford undoubtedly is going to be a star, but in my opinion, was this necessarily a breakout moment for him? I don't know. This guy is looked so good in so many matches like this. I'm not entirely sure if this is actually going to change his positioning at all. Now, I do think he easily could be a main event star if WWE wanted him to be one, but at the same time, let's continue to put some respect on Angelo Dawkins' name, because that guy does so much fantastic stuff and gets so little praise for it. Up next, we got Kobe Galanzowski himself, who's written in to say Jade and Tiffy displayed more chemistry together than Charlotte and Tiffy did at Mania. Now, it's quite funny, this take, right? Because a lot of the IWC have been complaining about Jade Cargill's wrestling ability and Tiffany Stratton's wrestling ability too. But it's funny, when they wrestle each other, well, everybody starts praising it. Interesting, that, isn't it? But I do agree with Kobe completely here. Charlotte and Tiffy had no chemistry. It kind of felt like they were going into business for themselves at times at that WrestleMania match. But last night, Jade and Tiffy, for the short match they had, showed some brilliant stuff. Up next, we have an opinion from Jose99, who's saying John Cena versus Randy Orton should end with Cena slapping a referee like No Way Out 2008. Now, I really don't want to see this. I'm sorry, I don't. And the reason for that is very simply that there's only so few dates Cena has left now, so very few matches. So while I do want to see Orton versus Cena one last time, I do want it to be one last time. And if it's a DQ finish, they're going to have to run it back. So for me, as funny as that would be, and as funny as I'd love to see the throwback to it, I'm just not sure it will or should happen. Up next, we have an opinion from David, who is saying that Aleister Black would have received a bigger reaction and more instant credibility if he started a feud with a bigger star than The Miz. And this is a very, very fair point. A point I can understand and can get behind. But at the same time, so many of the big stars are in big storylines right now. And Triple H has liked when he's brought stars back to kind of put them in a lower mid-card program to really let them find their footing once again. And honestly, like, The Miz is a former WrestleMania main eventer, and I know he mentions that every other minute, but it is true, right? So I really don't actually have an issue with The Miz. Could it have been Cody, and could that have been a fun program? Yes, but other than Cody, no other main event stars currently make sense for this. And Cody wrote, if they ran that back, everybody would be saying, oh, they're just copying AEW. And last but certainly not least, DCX Warlord has written in asking, should Fraxium dethrone the Street Profits? Now, if you're going to build this story up for like 6 months or so, this would make a lot of sense, and I would love it. Like I keep saying, the Street Profits do deserve a long reign, and I want them to get that. But for Fraxium to eventually be the ones to defeat them, I think that would make a lot of sense as well, and it would help them out massively. Now again, I do think another draft is needed to level out the Raw and SmackDown tag team division, because right now Raw is like empty and SmackDown is absolutely stacked. So who knows if they'll even be on the same brand in 6 months' time. But if they are, yes, I would love to see this. But overall, I absolutely adored last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Was it quite as good as Monday Night Raw when it came to surprises? No, not quite. But was it still ridiculously fun and actually better from an in-ring perspective? I would say so. And I mean, a lot of that is because of the TLC main event. But genuinely, from start until finish, I was hooked in. It was fantastic. Quite frankly, I was ridiculously tired, and this kept me awake for the entirety of the show. So shout out, fantastic show, and I will say it can take my money. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!